Do you actually feel safe? Have you ever been somewhere and realized that you're not actually afraid of that place, but you're afraid of what might happen while you're there? You go to a restaurant, but you want to sit near the exit. You drive somewhere, but you'll feel better knowing that someone's available to answer the phone. You go to the gym, but you keep checking your heart rate. Or you leave the house, but before you do, you have to check, how do I feel? Am I dizzy? Does my heart feel normal? Do I have water? Is my phone charged? And when everything checks out, then you're you finally think that you're safe. Okay, now I'm safe to go. I've done versions of this myself, and for the longest time, I thought nothing of it. I thought I was just being prepared. I thought I was helping manage my anxiety. But there's a question that I eventually had to ask. If I really believe I'm safe, why do I need all these things to prove it? And that's what we're getting into today. Because sometimes the habit that makes you feel better for 5 minutes can become the same habits that make it harder to trust yourself without them.
Okay, let's go.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Anxious to Alpha. We're in week 3 of Pillar 6, Exposure over Avoidance. And we're really getting deeper into this now because week 1 was about the things that anxiety convinces us to avoid. Week 2 was about the things that we keep postponing because we're waiting to just feel ready. But what if you're not avoiding anymore? What if you're actually going places, working out, driving, traveling, going to dinner, but you're still scared the entire time. You're still anxious the entire time because you're thinking, I can do this, but only if someone comes with me, only if I have my water, if I check my heart, only if I can leave, only if somebody reassures me that I'm okay. That's what we're talking about today. The little things we use to make anxiety feel more manageable, and whether some of them are actually preventing us from learning, I can handle this. If this sounds like you, pay attention. If you ever Googled a symptom, felt better, and then Googled another symptom 20 minutes later, pay attention to this. If you've ever checked your heart rate, saw that it was normal, felt relieved, then checked it again, pay attention. If you ever asked somebody, do you think that I'm okay? They tell you yes, you feel better, then an hour later you're asking somebody else. This is important, pay attention. Because look at what all of those have in common. They work for about a minute. That's why we keep doing them. You get reassurance, your anxiety drops, you breathe again, but then the doubt comes back. So you check again and again and again. At some point, I had to ask myself, if checking is actually making me feel safe, why do I need to keep checking? That's the trap. The relief doesn't always last, and eventually you can become more confident in your ability to check than in your ability to tolerate uncertainty. Here's what I didn't realize when I was constantly paying attention to how I felt. Every time that I checked my body looking for reassurance, I was also giving my brain another opportunity to feel something. And the human body is never completely silent. Your heart changes speed, your stomach moves, your muscles twitch, your head can feel weird sometimes, you get tired and lightheaded, your breathing changes, and you get random aches and pains. Most people that experience this, they just move on. They think about it and then they just move on. But when you battle anxiety, you notice it. Then you inspect it. You think about it. Then you check it again. And sometimes the original sensation isn't even the biggest problem anymore. It's what comes after that. The monitoring, the interpretation, the Googling, the reassurance, the question, what if this time it's different? I'm extremely guilty of that. Every time that I had a panic attack, my mind immediately went to heart attack. And even though I know that I have been through the panic attack before and it had nothing to do with my heart, each time it happened, it still felt like the very first time. My mind immediately went to the irrational assumption that I was having a heart attack, when really I wasn't. And suddenly I lost like an hour to a sensation that really just lasted 10 seconds. This is where we need to be careful. Now, I want to stop here because this is important. I'm not telling you that you should never check your body. I'm not telling you to never ask for help. I'm not telling you don't wear a smartwatch. And I'm definitely not telling you to ignore new, severe, or concerning symptoms. That's not anxiety recovery, that's just stupidity. The question isn't, do I ever do this? The question is, why am I doing this? And am I checking my heart rate because I'm tracking a workout? Cool. Or am I checking because I need to see a number that tells me that I'm safe? Am I bringing this water because I'm thirsty? Or do I genuinely believe that if I forget this water bottle, I can't leave the house? Am I calling somebody because I want to talk, or because I believe I can't handle this drive unless somebody is there to rescue me? Same behavior, completely different purpose. And what matters the most is what that purpose is. Here's one question that I want you to answer. Think about something that anxiety makes difficult for you. It could be driving, working out, crowds, being alone, restaurants, travel, whatever it is. Now ask yourself, what do I believe I need in order to do it? Not what you prefer, but what you believe you actually need. Do you need somebody with you? Do you need to know where the exit is? Do you need to check your heart first? Do you need your phone, or do you need reassurance? And now here's the uncomfortable question. What do you think would happen if you didn't have it? That's where you usually find the maybe it is I'll panic, I'll lose control, I won't be able to escape, nobody will be there to help me, I'll have a medical emergency, or I won't be able to handle the feeling. Now we're finally talking about the actual belief. This is why you can face fear and still feel stuck. This part is huge because I've talked a lot in this pillar about facing the things anxiety makes you avoid. But you can technically face something and still reinforce the fear. Imagine every time you drive somewhere far from home, you have somebody on the phone. You successfully make the drive in 10 minutes. That's awesome. But afterward, you tell yourself, I only made it because someone was there. Who got the credit? It wasn't you. Or you finish a hard workout, but you checked your heart rate 20 different times. Afterwards, I knew I was okay because my watch said so. Again, who gets the credit? You keep successfully doing difficult things while convincing yourself something else is responsible for your success. And that's what makes it really hard to develop trust in yourself. The lesson that we want your brain to eventually experience is, I felt anxious and I handled it. Not, I survived because I performed every safety behavior perfectly. Here's something that might surprise you guys. You don't need to eliminate every coping strategy tomorrow. In fact, that's not even what I'm recommending. The research around safety behaviors is much more nuanced than all safety behaviors are bad. Some can interfere with learning when they reinforce the belief that you couldn't cope without them. But support can also sometimes help someone approach a situation that they otherwise would not attempt. So the goal isn't to remove everything. The goal is become less dependent on the things that anxiety says you cannot function without. And we can test that gradually. That's what I want you to do this week. So let's make this real. Let's say that you check your heart rate 10 times during a workout. Don't go from 10 to 0 because some dude on YouTube told you to. Try delaying just one check. See what happens. Maybe you always call someone when you drive. Try driving the first 5 minutes without calling. Maybe you always choose the seat closest to the exit when you sit down for dinner. Try sitting somewhere slightly different. Maybe you Google every symptom immediately. Try waiting 10 minutes. then 20. We're not trying to create some massive movement where you prove that you're fearless. We're just testing a belief. Do I actually need this as much as anxiety says that I do? That's it. This one might be hard to hear. Sometimes we say we want certainty more than anything, but certainty can become the thing that we're chasing all day long. One more Google search, one more heart rate check, one more person telling us that we're okay, one more scan of our body. And eventually, we have to acknowledge something. No amount of checking can give us a permanent guarantee, because anxiety always has another question. Okay, what about this? What if this happens later? What if they missed something? What if it's different this time? That's why learning to tolerate some uncertainty matters. Not because nothing bad could ever happen. Nobody can guarantee that. It's learning that you don't need a guarantee before you're allowed to continue with your day. That's a completely different way of living. I want you to catch this in real time. Here's your challenge this week. Don't change anything yet. For the first couple of days, just catch it. Catch yourself reaching for reassurance. Catch yourself checking or scanning. Catch yourself thinking, I can do this, but only if, and then ask, what am I afraid would happen if I didn't do this? Then write it down. Choose one safe behavior that you've identified as anxiety-driven and experiment with reducing it slightly. Not eliminating your support system or ignoring legitimate medical advice or throwing yourself into your biggest fear. Just enough to give yourself the opportunity to discover maybe I'm more capable than I've been giving myself credit for. And afterwards, don't ask, was I anxious? Ask, did I handle it? Did I handle it myself? Those are two completely different measurements. Before you click off this video, I want you to think about the last time you did something that made you anxious. Maybe you went somewhere, maybe you drove, maybe you worked out, or you were just alone, and you made it through yourself. I want you to stop giving anxiety credit for that. You didn't make it because anxiety allowed you to. You didn't make it because you perfectly controlled every sensation. You handled it. Maybe imperfectly, maybe anxiously, maybe your heart was pounding the entire time, but you handled it. And if you've spent months telling yourself, I can't handle this without blank, maybe it's time to find out whether that's actually true. Slowly, safely, one experiment at a time. Because the goal of this pillar isn't to create a life where you never feel anxious, it's to create a life where anxiety doesn't get to decide what you are capable of. If something clicked for you in this video, comment, I see the pattern. And don't just comment it. This week, I want you to catch the pattern. Question it. Test one small piece of it and see what you are capable of. Remember, if you control your mind, you can control your life. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with somebody that you know that might be battling anxiety. I'll see you next week.